Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing with our series of zodiac yoga flows, and we're now doing the current season we're in, which is Gemini. So the Gemini season, I feel like, is one of those signs, along with my sign Scorpio, that can get a bad rap sometimes. Like, people think of the twins, which is their symbol, and how they can be two-faced. But really, they're just a very adaptable sign, and it's a very adaptable season. And it really reminds us and teaches us to accept all sides of ourselves. We don't have to be just one version of ourselves. We have many different facets and versions of ourselves, and they're all okay to be. They're all safe. They're all welcomed. So that's what we're going to try to do in this yoga flow. We're going to be adaptable. We're going to see different sides of ourselves, different perspectives, and really try to embody this season. So go ahead and join me in the center of your mat. I'm going to have my legs a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And we're going to start by just doing a quick bind behind our back, opening our hearts, bringing our gaze towards the sky. Gemini season is also the ruler of Mercury, which is the sign of communication and connection. So as we're doing this bind, we're opening our hearts and really letting our heart guide our communication and connection with those around us. You can kind of sway back and forth as we're doing this opener, taking nice deep breaths, allowing ourselves to be in this moment and in this practice. You can even close your eyes if you'd like. And then go ahead and inhale, bring those arms up towards the sky. And then we're going to exhale down into a goddess pose with our legs, not our arms just yet. Go ahead and squat down as far as you can, not having those knees go over your toes, but trying to keep your hips in line with your knees as far as you can. Sometimes I can't squat that far all the way down, but just push yourself to your edges, kind of swaying back and forth. And then let's find our hands on our knees and go ahead and dip that right shoulder. Just doing a light stretch or twist here, still again in the squat pose, breathing, allowing ourselves to see all sides, be adaptable in this Gemini season, and then go ahead and switch it to the other side. Geminis are also known for being very inquisitive and charming. Such a fun sign. I find Gemini very interesting. So even if you're not Gemini, you can still harness those qualities in this season. Just be playful and curious with it. I love curious energy, and that's a huge part of the Gemini season. It's just being inquisitive and curious. All right, back to center. Now let's go ahead and straighten our legs. We're just going to have ourselves at a 90-degree angle with our hips, straighten our back, and then go ahead and fold all the way forward into a wide forward fold. Let's just go ahead and catch our breath here, just gently swaying back and forth, breathing. A huge part of yoga is just breathing and being aware of the sensations that we feel in our body. So you can always come back to that when you're feeling overwhelmed. All right, beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and place our hands on the center of our mat and then gently come down into tabletop. So you can transition any way here. It's kind of an awkward way that I did it, but no pressure. We accept all sides and versions of ourselves right here. So we're currently in tabletop, and we're going to start by extending our right arm in front of us and our left leg behind us. So alternating our arm and our leg. Our foot is flexed, and we're just stretching in both directions as far as we can, and then releasing down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So lifting my left arm and my right leg, flexing that back foot, stretching out in both ways as far as I can, breathing, and then coming back down. Let's do that again, at least one more time on each side. So lifting my right arm and left leg, stretching out as far as I can, taking a nice deep breath, and then releasing down. Same thing on the other side. Beautiful. Maybe contemplating in this practice as we release back down any different ways that you want to show up in Gemini season. So let's lift our right arm and left leg again, and then go ahead and bring that right arm back towards the left leg and hang onto your ankle or either the top of your foot, and go ahead and press that foot into your hand into a little dancer pose here in tabletop. Like I was saying, maybe there's a part of you want to start expressing in this Gemini season. Such a beautiful thing to leverage in this zodiac. Breathing, finding our balance. All right, let's go ahead and stretch it back out and then release back down. Same thing on the other side. We're just warming up our legs for a pose later. So extending our left arm and right leg, and then bringing the left hand back towards the right foot, holding onto the ankle, pressing the ankle into the hand, lifting that knee up as high as we can in our chest, breathing. Like we said, this is a very adaptable yoga flow. We're going to be in lots of different positions here, and just have love and compassion for ourselves throughout the whole process, keeping that heart open. All right, reach back out and release down. Let's do a quick child's pose here. I have my legs a little bit wider, my knees a little bit wider to stretch out my lower back and my hips. Palms at the front of your mat, and just melt it back into child's pose. You can put your forehead on your mat as you find a spot to really rest for just a moment. Nice, beautiful, juicy breaths in this pose. Noticing where we're feeling the sensation and the stretch in our body. And then on the next inhale, let's lift it back up into tabletop and then just release our hips down into upward facing dog. Beautiful. Opening that heart towards the sky, receiving any wisdom we need in this moment, connecting with ourselves, and tucking those toes under. Let's pop it up into plank, and then finally into downward facing dog. So go ahead and find your footing here. You may want to walk it in a little bit farther, but have your soles completely on your mat, pushing your palms into the mat, having your spine nice and long. We're not like hunched over or anything, but we can bend our knees just a little bit here. Now we're going to do some fun variations in this pose. So just go ahead and find your rhythm here. You can walk the dog a little bit as well. And then what we're going to do is take our left hand to our right foot, or right ankle rather, and just kind of do a little sideways stretch here. Most of our weight is still in our right palm here, but just kind of getting a nice stretch in those hamstrings and putting some tension and some weight on that hand. Beautiful. Bring it back to downward facing dog. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So bringing that right hand towards your left ankle, finding that breath, generating a lot of heat in this flow. Then bring it back to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now we're going to bring our right foot up into three-legged dog. Here's where it gets really interesting. And we are going to find our balance on our left hand and left foot. Now you can stay in three-legged dog if you'd like. I'm going to challenge myself a little bit. You got to find your balance. It's okay if you fall, right? And do a variation of dancer's pose in downward facing dog. Now it may take you a couple tries. I have a nice wall here to find my balance, and that's okay. Perspective. Beautiful. You can do it for just a moment and then bring it back down into downward facing dog. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So lifting my left leg in the air, nice and high, feeling that nice stretch in my body, finding my balance on the right side. Then bringing that right hand up, or that left hand up to my left leg. Bringing that left hand up to my left leg, holding Dancer for just a moment, and then bringing it back down. Ah, beautiful. Let's release it down at tabletop and then into child's pose. Whew. Finding some rest after those poses. It's no joke. Pushing ourselves to the edges just a little bit. Again, exploring all sides of ourselves, and sometimes pushing past those boundaries help us find different sides of ourselves. Harnessing that Gemini energy. Beautiful. Really stretching out our shoulders here. Your shoulders and legs had to do a lot of work, a lot of balance there. All right, inhale, bring it back up into tabletop. And then go ahead and meet me on your back. Now this next pose is also really fun. Harnessing that fun, curious energy. So go ahead and find yourself on your back. We're just going to lift our legs straight up in the air. Almost like you're doing legs up the wall, but you don't have a wall. You're just lifting straight up in the air. And then what you're going to do is you may need some leverage here. We're going to swing them back into plow pose. Now watch me first, and then you can do this, okay? So we're going to swing them back into plow pose. Sometimes I have to find it with one foot and then the other. You may find yourself just here. You can like kind of hold your butt up or your lower back up, or you may find yourself all the way with your toes on the ground. But you're pushing all parts of you into the ground, shoulders into the ground, feet into the ground. Just finding your balance here. Beautiful. Now you can go ahead and do this on your own if you haven't already. If anything hurts or you feel any tension, stay where you're at. Do not push it in this pose. Beautiful. Then we're just going to bring one leg back up, then the other. Still kind of holding our lower back or butt up. And let's go ahead and do a shoulder stand. Such a fun balancing pose. Now you can do a lot of different variations here. You can kind of do the little makeshift splits on both sides. You can see I can't go very far in my splits, and that's okay. Just kind of have fun in the shoulder stand. You can roll out your ankles both ways. Still breathing. Still being in this Gemini energy. Pushing those shoulders into the ground. And then on the next inhale, let's roll it back down. Let's go ahead and bring our legs into a nice hug. Hugging our knees in towards our chest. Really feeling that in our back and our shoulders. Really feeling that in our back and our shoulders. Nice inhales and exhales. Now let's go ahead. If you can put your arms in a T, go ahead and do it. I don't have a lot of room on either side, so I'm going to do butterfly with my hands and go ahead and do a quick twist because that feels so good on my spine. So my legs are in one direction, my gaze is towards the other. Doing a light twist. Breathing. Showing appreciation for my body, all that it can do in this moment, in this time and space, and that it's so adaptable. I can get into so many different poses, and that is truly amazing. And switch to the other side. Breathing. Coming back towards our center. Gemini is an air sign, so a lot of times we can tend to be up in the clouds in the season, but coming back down a little bit if we need to. Really tuning in and seeing what you need in this moment. Bring it back to center, and then let's go ahead and release it into Savasana. And just allow ourselves to be here in those last few moments, taking nice deep breaths. Again, huge part of Gemini energy is acknowledging all parts of you. What parts of you need to feel loved and safe and wanted? Breathe and allow yourself to explore the different facets of yourself. When it feels right, go ahead and join me in the center of your mat. Or you can stay in Savasana if you need to. I'm so grateful that you joined me in today's practice. I'm feeling your love and your energy through this time and space. I hope this Gemini season is insightful for you and you can embrace your curiosity and your exploration in this zodiac season. Go ahead and bring your hands to your heart. Sending you all so much love and all the highest vibes. I will see you in the next yoga flow. Namaste.